What the things you brought along with you?
Well, I brought a complete toolkit and pieces of wood to repair anything that might break.
How much water did you bring?
About 25 to 6 gallons. But then I brought a lot of fruit juice and things like that.
Has the water held out pretty well?
Oh, yes. I've got, I would say, 10 gallons anyway left.
How about the food supply?
I've got enough food for about a month left. A lot of it's emergency food, you know.
How about the fresh fruit that the RAF dropped to you? Was that needed?
Oh, it was, yes, I hadn't had any apples at all. All my stuff was canned, of course.
No symptoms of scurvy?
No, I've been taking pills to prevent that, ascorbic acid pills and vitamin pills.
How about the ships that you saw along the way? Did all of them stop?
Well, a good many of them did. If they were close by, I almost got run down by a Russian ship, or at least I thought I was going to be run down. But he swerved aside at the last minute. And ships that are on the horizon that may not have seen me didn't stop.
How about storms out here, Bob? Have you run into more weather than you thought you would?
No, it's before I started, I got estimates of the weather for June, July, and August from the Weather Bureau and the Naval office, and it's been pretty much what they said it would be. It's been mostly very pleasant. I've run into about 4 days of gale force winds, and when the wind got real bad, I just put out the sea anchor and heave to for a while, and when it died down, then I'd go on.
It's not the same sea we have in Lake Erie, though, is it?
No.
Bigger swells.
Bigger swells. It's more exciting sailing. Much more interesting, I think. This is Air Force type Sextant. I've been using with a stopwatch so that I can time the moment of the sight exactly, and I can use it with either a bubble or the natural horizon. I've used the horizon mainly because that's much more accurate than the bubble.
How about your food packets, Bob? What have you been eating?
Well, I'll show you that. Before I left, I arranged my food in packets like this with plastic. Incidentally, these plastic bags came from the AP photofax machine. And for about a year now, the picture editor at the Plain Dealer has been saving these for me. And I got, more than 300 of them to pack my daily food in. On this particular one, there's shrimp and peaches and apple juice, coffee, raisins, malted milk tablets, and matches to light the stove, and some candy. And this is called a cereal bar. You crumble it up and mix it with water, and then heat it, and makes a nice hot cereal.
Has that food been adequate for you?
Oh, more than adequate. See, I had 2 of these for one day, and 14 of them for a week, and I had 9 bags with a week's supply in each bag, and in addition to that, I had emergency rations that I could use if I ran out of these.
How about your water supply? How much water did you take?
I've got about 25 gallons of water, and most of it was in these half-gallon plastic bottles. And when I used the water up, I filled it back up with salt water to maintain the weight and the stability of the boat that way.
Mr. Manry, why don't you describe some of the other things that are down in the cabin with you as you see them, and we'll take a look at them with a close-up on the camera.
Okay, well, here's my, this is my little stove and gimbals, and I use canned heat, and I've been having hot meals right along with this little gadget. Yeah, this is my sun helmet. My wife gave me this before I left, and it's been mighty handy.
Did you expect the trip to take this long, Bob?
Well, I had estimated 60 days, but Tinkerbell doesn't go quite as fast as I thought she might. And of course, every night I'd stop and sleep. And that added to the time, and I had to stop every time I cooked a meal. So
How many hours a day did you spend?
I guess I was actually sailing about 13 or 14 hours a day. And I figured one of the principal dangers was exhaustion, so I made sure that I got plenty of rest.
Tell me about the ships at sea you've seen.
Well, during the first week, I was awakened one morning by an American submarine that came alongside to see if everything was all right. It was the submarine Trench. And then a few days later, I was awakened by a Canadian cruiser that was in the midst of maneuvers. And a few days, both of these ships reported me to the Coast Guard very kindly. Then a few days later, a freighter took some mail. And
these people, ship captains, have been pretty generous to you, haven't they?
Oh, very generous. I can't say enough in favor of the merchant marine and the captain. There seems to be a sort of camaraderie and tradition about helping one another on the sea that's marvelous. I wish it could be more like that ashore.
Do most of them, when they stop, ask if you want aid or ask to take you in tow or what?
Well, they inquire if everything's all right. And I guess it usually appears pretty obvious that everything is all right because I'm not yelling for help or anything.
What are the extremes in seas that you've had?
Well, I think the biggest waves I've encountered were perhaps 20-footers. I'm not too good at judging the height, but that's judging by the height of my mast, which is 17 feet. I'd say I got into a few 20-footers. And then it ranged on down from that. Most of them have been about 3 to 6 feet.
How does the Tinkerbell ride in the high seas?
Well, she rides beautifully as long as there aren't big breakers. If there are big breakers, I've got to heave to and put out the sea anchor so that I hit them bow first. Because if they hit me sideways, they bowl me over. And that's when I got knocked out of the boat 6 times. These breakers hit me sideways and just swept over the cockpit and swept me out with it.
When you were swept overboard, did you have any flashes of thought that you might not get back, and that was all?
Oh, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, I got back in the boat so fast sometimes that I wasn't completely wet. This rubberized suit I'm wearing sort of tipped the water out.
Some of the professional seamen along the coast of Cornwall say that perhaps you've got some of your toughest sailing yet to do during the next few hundred miles.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. They say that this is the stormiest part of the English coast, and I'm just hoping the weather will be kind to me when I pass by. And
have you studied the rocks and reefs pretty thoroughly?
Yes, I have the sailing directions from the English authorities, and I've been reading and studying that, and I think I know the dangers. I just hope I don't get a strong wind that's going to blow me on the shore.
Bob, do the ships coming at night present a real worry to you?
It's kind of worrisome. I guess you get sort of fatalistic about it. If they hit you, you probably won't know what hit you because. But
you carry any light at night?
One night I saw a light out the porthole, and I thought it was the moon rising above the horizon, and I looked back a while later and it was still there, only bigger, and then I popped out of the hatch and realized there was a ship coming toward me, and it came closest. It passed by about a mile away. That's the closest I've been.
How long do you feel it'll take you to make it from here into shore now to Palma Finger?
Well, if I get a southeast breeze or a southwest breeze or a northwest breeze, I should make it in about a week, I think.
Can we give him a pretty exact fix?
Yeah, I can give him that.